I still loved him after he cheated. And that was the hardest part. I don't know when my life turned into this. I feel like I'm standing at a crossroads, with my mind screaming one thing, and my heart insisting on something completely different. My brain knows I shouldn't be here, that the logical thing would be to leave. But my heart still loves him. We've been together for 8 years. 8. Saying that out loud still feels unreal. For the first 4 years, I truly believed we had a solid relationship. Not perfect, but real. The kind you build slowly with routines, plans, and a shared future. Then health issues started. Doctor visits, tests, exams. Physical exhaustion turned into emotional exhaustion. And little by little, distance crept in. We didn't fight all the time. There weren't constant arguments. Just that uncomfortable silence that slowly grows between two people. Recently, because of medical issues and exams he needed to take, I pressured him to be honest with me. Not angrily, more like begging. I needed to know if he was still truly with me. That's when he told me. He admitted it. He said yes. He had cheated. He didn't yell. He didn't cry. He didn't try very hard to justify himself. And the strangest part is, neither did I react the way I thought I would. I didn't feel immediate anger. I didn't feel hatred. I felt empty. It's hard to hate someone when you still love them deeply. Since that moment, something inside me changed. We still live together. We still share the same space, but everything feels different. Hugging him isn't automatic anymore. Kissing him feels strange. Like my body understands something my heart hasn't fully accepted yet. And still, I miss him. I miss him even when he's right next to me. I haven't broken up with him yet. Not yet. I think part of me knows that's what I have to do. But another part of me just wants one last moment. One last real hug. One last night where everything feels normal. And that makes me feel guilty. Because now I'm asking myself questions I never thought I'd ask. Is it worth knowing exactly what happened with the other person? Do I need the details? Or will they only hurt more? Has anyone ever slept with their partner after finding out they were cheated on? Did it help? Or did it just make everything more confusing? Right now, I'm stuck between what I know I should do and what I still feel. And I don't know which one is going to win. What scares me the most isn't leaving him. It's realizing how badly I still want to stay, even after knowing the truth. The days after he told me were strange. Nothing exploded. There was no dramatic breakup. Life just kept going, and somehow that made everything feel worse. We woke up in the same bed. We ate together. We talked about random things, as if my entire world hadn't cracked open. But inside my head, nothing was quiet. Every time he touched me, I wondered if he had touched her the same way. Every time he smiled at me, I asked myself if that smile had ever been meant for someone else. And I hated myself for thinking like that. I wanted things to feel normal again. I really did. So I tried. I tried hugging him like before. I tried kissing him without overthinking it. I tried acting like love alone could erase what I now knew. But my body kept pulling away, even when my heart wanted to stay. One night, he noticed. He asked me why I felt so distant, why I seemed somewhere else. And for a moment, I almost pretended everything was fine. But I couldn't. I told him I felt broken, that I didn't know how to touch him anymore without imagining someone else in his place. He didn't get angry. Instead, he told me it didn't mean anything, that it was a mistake, that it was just a moment of weakness. And maybe that hurt more than if he had yelled at me, because how could something that meant nothing destroy so much? That's when he asked me something I wasn't ready to hear. He asked if I wanted to know the details, how it happened, where it happened, how long it lasted. I didn't answer right away. Part of me wanted to know everything, like knowing the truth would somehow give me control. Another part of me knew that once I heard those details, I would never unhear them. I went to the bathroom and locked the door. I sat on the floor and cried silently so he wouldn't hear me. I realized something terrifying in that moment. I wasn't crying because he cheated. I was crying because I still loved him and I didn't know how to stop. And the worst part, even after everything, I still wanted him to choose me. That night, I had to make a decision: ask for the truth or protect what was left of my heart. I came out of the bathroom with my eyes red and my hands shaking. He looked at me like he already knew what I was going to say. I told him I wanted to know. Not everything, not every detail, just enough to understand why my heart felt so small all of a sudden. He hesitated, and that hesitation, that's when I knew this wasn't going to be easy. He told me it happened more than once, not just a single mistake, not just one bad night. I felt my chest tighten. Then he told me it wasn't random. It was someone he knew. Someone who had listened to him complain about me, about my health, about how distant I had become. That's when something inside me finally cracked. I asked him the question I was most afraid to ask. Did you ever love her? He didn't answer right away. And that silence was louder than any confession. He said he didn't love her, but he liked how she made him feel wanted, needed, seen. I laughed, not because it was funny, but because it was cruel how familiar that sounded. Because that used to be me. I told him I had spent months blaming myself, thinking I wasn't enough, thinking my body failing me meant I had failed him too. And he just sat there, listening. I realized something in that moment. He wasn't fighting for me. He wasn't begging me to stay. He was just explaining himself. And that hurt more than the cheating. I stood up and told him I loved him. And I hated that I still did. I told him I missed the man I thought he was, not the one sitting in front of me. Then I said the words I had been avoiding since the beginning. I can't do this anymore. He didn't stop me. He didn't chase me. He just nodded. And somehow, that was the final confirmation I needed. I didn't lose him that day. I lost the version of him I had been holding on to for years. The days after I left felt unreal. I didn't feel strong. I didn't feel proud. I felt empty. Everyone talks about leaving like it's a victory, like you walk away feeling empowered and free. That wasn't my experience. I woke up reaching for my phone just to remember there was no one to text anymore. I missed the routine, the good morning messages, the way he used to sit next to me on the couch, even if we weren't talking. Some nights I wondered if I had overreacted, if love was supposed to be this painful and I just wasn't strong enough to handle it. I questioned myself constantly. Was I wrong for still loving him? Was I weak for missing someone who hurt me? Did leaving really mean I loved myself? Or was I just running away? What no one tells you is that ending a long relationship doesn't feel like closing a door. It feels like tearing a part of yourself away. I realized I wasn't grieving just him. I was grieving the future I had imagined, the trips we never took, the life we planned during late-night conversations, the version of us that only existed in my head. And that grief didn't disappear overnight. There were days I wanted to go back, not because things were better, but because familiar pain felt safer than the unknown. But slowly, something started to change. I noticed how quiet my mind became. No more wondering who he was texting. No more replaying conversations in my head, looking for signs I missed. I started sleeping better. I started breathing deeper. And one day, without realizing it, I stopped blaming myself. I understood something important. Love doesn't disappear the moment trust is broken. And staying doesn't always mean loyalty. Sometimes it just means fear. I wasn't weak for loving him after the betrayal. I was human. But loving myself meant accepting that love alone isn't enough to build a future. I don't hate him. And maybe that's the hardest part. I loved him for 8 years. That doesn't vanish just because the ending was ugly. But I learned that missing someone doesn't mean they deserve to stay. If you're listening to this and you're in the same place I was, confused, still in love, trying to convince yourself to stay just a little longer, please know this. You're not broken for loving deeply, but you don't owe your future to someone who couldn't protect your heart. Sometimes the bravest thing you can do is walk away while you still care. Because choosing yourself doesn't mean you loved them less. It means you finally loved yourself enough. And maybe healing doesn't start when the pain ends. Maybe it starts when you stop abandoning yourself.